shot so far, the power play. Fox makes it 2, and he scores! A power play goal with just 2 seconds remaining on the man advantage. Foxel tries to bandage yet again, and a goal! Tipped in by Kreider. Another power play goal for New York and a 2-0 lead 8 minutes in. Here's Svechnikov right back. Terrified and robbed by Shesterkin. They have a 2-on-1 across the line. Strome scores. He had a great chance a moment ago. Couldn't put it home. That time he did. And it's 3-0 New York. Break opportunity for Kreider. Chris Kreider. He scores on the backhand. 4-0 Rangers. Edel all alone. He scores. Final 3 seconds. They've done it again.
This is WHPC Sports Talk on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Well. A Wednesday, 4:03 here in bleak Garden City, to say the least. It's time for WHPC Sports Talk. I'm your host for today, Anthony Deus, joined by Mike Merlo, Josh Umahi, and Ross Levine. I think Justin Greenberg single-handedly jinxed the Rangers with this.
No.
Are you really still going with this Rangers jinx stuff? I mean,
listen, pal, it worked. It worked the first 2 times. It's going to work a third time.
The Rangers are going to be fine. I know we're going to talk about them in a little bit. I'm excited for this series.
I'm keeping my expectations as low as I possibly can, just because I don't want to expect the best and then hope for the worst. So I am going in even keel against the Lightning.
That's the way to go.
Hey, if it's working for y'all, keep it going, I guess.
Yeah.
Who am I to argue, right?
All right, we're going to get to the Rangers later, but I want to start off with something that may have brought Yankee fans and Met fans together, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it absolutely did. Absolutely did.
What happened there? Noah Syndergaard, a absolute masterclass of a game last night. 2 1/3 innings pitched, 5 earned runs against a very injured Yankees lineup. A very good one, though. Not to
but it's
lessen the blow here, but
it's a B- lineup compared to the A- lineup, probably. I
was shocked that I said yesterday. It's like with Jordan Montgomery gets on the mound, he gets no run support. When Noah Syndergaard gets on the mound, he stinks it up. So 2 things were going to happen. It's the unstoppable force versus the immovable object. Jordan Montgomery won. He actually got some run support. 9-1 was the victory last night. And I don't know. For your Met fans out there, I guess you're feeling good about that he got shelled.
Yeah, I was thrilled. I was absolutely thrilled with it. I was at the Met game, and I looked up. I had the over in the game, by the way.
Oh, of course you did.
And I looked up, and I go, holy crap, it's 4-0. And then it was 5-0, and he doesn't make it out of the third. Let me ask you guys something. In 2 out of his last 3 starts, Noah Syndergaard hasn't made it out of the third inning.
That's fantastic.
No, are those real starts? Do we count those as real starts? This guy, man, he is just...
He's out of his mind. That's what he is.
Yeah, he thinks he's more than he actually is, and his failure, I will laugh at whenever it is. And I think the Mets are slated to face him next weekend, so we'll see what happens.
There you go. Now, it's interesting how this hashed out because let's say they did tender that option, and he was on this team. I mean, he'd be an important part because of all the injuries. I mean, he'd be the 5th guy in the rotation. But it's interesting how things crack out to be like this, right?
What?
Oh, thanks for listening.
I was reading a quote from Mike Trout.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Read the truth.
No. I want to hear your question.
Because it was so important.
Yes, it was. Because did you see what Tommy Pham said about Mike Trout today?
Yes. I want to get to that later because that is the stupidest beef in baseball right now.
What did you said about Syndergaard? I think that I heard Boomer Esiason say this morning that he played with the baseball gods a little bit too much. And he got burned. He got burned last night. He couldn't. I saw some guy heckling him. I follow him on TikTok. He's a Met fan. He's really annoying. I don't like him. But he was heckling Syndergaard while he was throwing his bullpen session. You know what they were doing to Garrett Cole in the wild card game against the Red Sox? They were screaming, "That's a ball! That's a ball! That's 450!" It was hysterical. And the guy said to him, "You're back in the city you couldn't handle." You know?
No response, right?
No response.
Maybe he should have responded. Maybe he would have went another third of an inning.
His girly haircut.
Oh.
If you want to talk about whether it's playing with the baseball gods or trolling, I do find great joy in the fact that Mets Mirai tweeted this. Noah Syndergaard, you kind of mentioned it, Mike. 8.18 ERA since he said the Mets combined no-hitter wasn't real. And if he still wants to claim, I wasn't talking about the Mets when I said that, but Mets fans are so sensitive and they jump at everything. Please just give it a rest, and I'll enjoy rooting for this guy's downfall for the rest of the season and for the rest of his career.
He called Mr. Meta creep, but he might be actually the creep in this situation.
Yeah.
As he's creeping towards being out of baseball.
Creeping towards
How about
relevance.
that? How about that?
And what's so funny too? And I actually didn't even realize this because they're the Angels. I don't care. Aaron Loop, the former Met, he stinks. Actually, he has a 5 ERA. I actually did not know that. I thought
He has a 5 ERA now?
He got off to a good start.
Yeah, he got off
too.
to a great start.
He's been pathetic the last month. He's been terrible.
And look at that. The Mets.
What do they have? Jolie Rodriguez.
Hold on. You both are going to get a platform to fight
just saying.
when we get to the Mets.
Rodriguez.
Because I'm at a crossroads with the Mets bullpen, but that's for a bit later. Now, one of the standout stars last night was Jose Trevino. He hit the home run late in the game, but I think he won the starting catching job. I know they were putting them back and forth, but with how bad Kyle Higashioka has been playing, the 7 home runs in the spring training never cracked out to be in the regular season, but hey, listen, Jose Trevino wasn't expected to be the starter. He was supposed to be the backup, and he's playing fantastic as of late. I know it's a very small sample size, but you ride with the hot bat.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Mike.
You ride with the hot bat, and we don't even bring up. I think it's joked about a lot, especially among my friends. He's the best at pitch framing. The best. There's a stat for it, and he is the best. He's in his league of his own, apparently.
Even the base running from a catcher, it's fantastic. Just the incredible base running IQ that Trevino has. Something that a lot of Yankee players don't have, especially the last few years.
I was sitting next to a couple of casual Met fans yesterday, and these older guys, actually big guys, big muscles, big stomachs, tall guys.
Why do you need to give the adjectives there?
No, you want to know why? Because then there were these 2 younger women sitting in front of me.
Oh.
And these guys trying to flirt with them. It looks like these guys have teenage kids, but they're flirting with these women, buying them drinks, whatever. That was funny. But they were talking. They saw Tomas Nido's stats come up, and they said, "How is this guy in the league?" And I'm in my head, and I'm like, just catchers aren't good. There are not many good catchers in the league offensively.
Good hitting catchers are really a dime a dozen.
When you have a guy like Jose Trevino that plays defense the way he does, is great with the staff the way he is, and he's got a 717 OPS, which is not terrible. I know, again, small sample size. You kind of ride with him a little bit, but not too much, because we've seen in the past when you have a backup catcher like this who hits well when he's not playing every single day, when you start to play him now in that role, he kind of gets worse.
So you're saying if you're playing 6 games a week, 4 go to Trevino, maybe 2 go to Higgy?
Right. You need to give him rest because
it's
Yankees team with injuries. They're injury laden. You need to give him rest, but don't be platooning them anymore. Give Trevino the majority of the starts. Because I know it's funny how things were a year ago. Everyone wanted Higashioka to be the consistent catcher. He got that job. Then when Sanchez leaves, now Trevino comes into the backup, and now everyone wants Trevino to be the starting catcher, which he should be. But again, it's just a very ironic thing that happened.
Yeah, and also, when you're talking about backup catchers, they're backup catchers for a reason. They're that's why they don't play every day, and that's why he's not. That's why he probably hasn't had that opportunity, because when he has, he's probably failed. But at the same time, they're good for who they are. They're good backup catchers.
Yeah.
They hit. They're decent fielders.
I personally like having my 8-9 hitters not be automatic outs because they're going to start Joey Gallo or Aaron Hicks. Be nice to have 2 out of 3 times maybe getting a hit from your catcher because they're batting him at the bottom of the order.
When you have a good team like the Yankees do right now, you're always looking at, teams will focus on what's the weakness. The rotation's been really, really good. The bullpen's been good. The top of the lineup is Aaron Judge, and he's looking like an MVP of the American League right now.
Speaking of Aaron Judge, Mike, how you always say with every home run that contract goes up another $10,000?
No, $1 million sometimes.
$10 million?
No, $1 million.
$1 million. Okay, so
Sometimes.
how much did the value of Judge's contract go up robbing Shohei Ohtani last night?
It's in center field, so it adds, versatility.
Right.
So maybe $500,000.
Okay. It's an expensive catch to me.
Yeah, it was an expensive catch for the Yankees.
But I got to say, this is maybe a turning point for Jordan Montgomery starts. They're getting hits for him. They're getting runs, which I know this Angels team, and I'm going to get to this a little later. I want to rant on the Angels a little bit because...
Artie Moreno, our friend.
Well, not only that, he's a friend, but this is something very fishy about this team. I think they're a hot start. It's a little bit of a facade, but we'll get to that.
Oh, so funny, too. All the media members were just clamoring about them. Yeah, we'll talk about them in a minute.
So, I mean, it's very good that they're finally hitting from him. You know, it seems like all his starts when they lose games because they weren't giving him runs, it was something personal, which it wasn't, but it just seemed like that because every start they wouldn't score runs for him. Hopefully this changes things because he's a damn good pitcher.
Like a DeGrom start almost when the Mets were bad.
Right, but I feel like
that's right where my mind went.
It's more in focus here because the Mets were always bad. Right. It's not like every 4 out of 5 days your team isn't hitting. This is like a glaring. It's got a spotlight on it, nonetheless. Let's go to the Angels really quickly.
Wait, no, I want to say something about Montgomery. He's, just a perfect, back end possible 3 starter. I mean, he's so solid. And good for the Yankees that finally gave him run support, a 3.04 ERA. Just really, really good. Big left-handed guy, left-handed pitcher. You love to have him in that rotation. So he's a big part of that. He's steady and he's consistent, and you like to have guys like that.
How about this Matt Carpenter pickup, too?
Oh, yeah. Beautiful.
Talk about that. Where is this coming from?
So this is interesting because Cashman does take these long shots.
Yeah.
This worked out perfectly. Unbelievable. I mean, listen, the no batting gloves with the mustache, 70s baseball. What is it? And he's hitting very well. I'm really glad they're doing that. He's doing well because he was a very good player in St. Louis. What happened in Texas, it sucks, but he's getting another shot and he's taking the opportunities that are given to him.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times being in New York media, we get on Brian Cashman a lot for, not making as many of the big moves as we're used to, as you're used to, I'm sure, being a Yankee fan. But the small, flyers he's taken on guys, as you look up and down this roster, they've really, really been effective, and we got to give credit to that.
That Mets just won the game as well, but
yes,
this was a very good shot because he takes some weird shots at players.
Yeah.
But nonetheless. All right, the Angels. Unless Mike has anything he wants to interject before we get to the Angels.
No, I'm good.
You're good? Okay.
We can talk about the Angels.
At the beginning of the season when they had those 20 wins, something was not right. Because historically, they are not good. They have never been good, and they've always come up short. They've always failed their expectations. Nothing they did in this offseason made me go, okay, this team is changing.
Aaron Luke didn't change your mind?
No, it didn't change my mind. You think it would. There is something. This is a facade. This is not real. This is imagination.
Well, they never pitch. I mean, they always struggle to pitch. Their offense has always been pretty decent, but their pitching's never been great. And part of it too is they don't get a lot of attention, and there's a reason for it. Dodgers are great. They're the second team in town, and I mean, heck. Now that they can't pitch, they can't have a main broadcaster. that is how they always keep flipping that. So they can't even find a broadcaster, and they can't pitch.
Well, I don't know if I get what you're saying, but I don't know if I buy the fact that they don't get a lot of attention. They should be. Got Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani.
They get attention because of that.
Because of those players. But after that, it's like nothing.
They get attention because of the players, but it almost feels like they're the media darling. I felt like the people in the media just want this team to be good.
You nailed it. Because they have the 2 stars. You want them to be great. You want them to be in the playoffs.
And the casual fan wants them to be good. You want to see Trout in the playoffs again. And listen, if Syndergaard wasn't on this team, I'm all for it. But now that Syndergaard's on this team, I hope they lose.
Can't have it.
It's a personal vendetta.
It's a personal vendetta, and the Mets go there next weekend.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. But you're right, Anthony. It didn't feel sustainable. They can hit, and I'm sure they will hit. For the rest of this season, Taylor Ward has gotten off to an unbelievable start. Obviously, Trout. You still have Shohei. He's hitting home runs still. They've hit the ball very well, but Noah Syndergaard got off to a really good start, and he's kind of come back to earth the last few outings. I don't think he's going to be able to sustain the success that he was having, not striking guys out, because if you look at his numbers, he's not striking anybody out.
You know what I'll say about the Angels, and I don't watch enough of them to know whether I'm sure they're going to flame out or not, but they've always I don't want to say they disgust me, but it's just you have two of the best, if not the best players in baseball. You have the LA market. How is it that I know the Astros are good in that division, but how is it that they're just mid every single year? I don't understand.
With Mike Trout, and I know it's a team sport, but with Mike Trout, you'd think you'd be winning the division every year.
Yeah,
you
best
should
player in
be.
baseball.
Right.
But it's one player.
No, but I'm saying with that level of talent, you think you could build around Mike Trout, just put good value pieces in there and win the division, or at least be neck and neck for the division.
And it's not like
they haven't done it.
It's not like they haven't spent money either. I mean, they blew all this money on Rendon, which that doesn't really move the needle. So
Well, look a few miles south of us. Not spending money doesn't work all the time.
that's very true.
Does it? You know,
That's
does,
very true.
and that's the thing. You know, in the arguments about the luxury tax. You know, going back to the lockout and spending money, it doesn't always equal winning. You have to spend the right money, and the Angels have not done that. It's been for years now.
Yeah.
Years they haven't spent the right money. Whether you want to talk about Anthony Rendon's contract, Josh Hamilton's contract, whoever, they haven't spent the right money. Same thing with the Philadelphia Phillies right now. They're the worst team in their state, and the Pirates play in their state. So, spending money does not equal winning. Again, the Mets spent, not this amount of money last season, but still over $200 million right up until that luxury tax, and they didn't win.
You wouldn't think this is the franchise that beat Barry Bonds in 2002 in the World Series.
No.
People don't even realize that happened.
I always forget, like, there's champions I'll look back on. I'm like, who won
That happened?
Yeah, that really happened, huh? Okay.
A lot of the time. I mean, you wouldn't think. I mean, who were on the 2002 Angels?
I can't even name.
Guerrero wasn't on there.
Nah,
K-Rod.
He was.
K-Rod was on that team. I remember.
That's one guy.
That's the one name I can probably get.
Good reliever, though.
Yeah.
Back in his day. Not when he was with the Mets. Back in his day.
No, always circle back to the Mets, right?
Well, I'm just saying. We know K-Rod, us, because he was on the Mets later in his career. Not many people would have known that K-Rod was on the 2002 Angels. I'm relating it back to New York. You know, we do a New York sports show.
Oh, I didn't know.
Oh, okay. Just want to let you know.
If you talk about the all-time great contract years, how many saves did he have that year in 2008? Like in the 70s?
I'll take a look.
Something crazy like that?
I got Baseball Reference up.
That was one of the... I was 2008 after the Mets blew that division lead to the Phillies. I was like, we need a closer so bad, and that was the guy I really wanted. Like
what's his first name?
Francisco Rodriguez.
Then why is it?
What is it? The ESPN broadcast popping up?
No, I'm on Baseball Reference. You want to know? 2008, he had 62 saves.
62 saves. Wow. That's crazy. Like the Mets, I think we had in 2008. We had Luis Ayala closing games. Like just no. I was begging for this guy, and it's funny that it didn't work out the way we wanted.
He had 83 saves as a Met in 3 years.
Wow,
that just shows you.
Yeah, it goes.
It wasn't bad. He wasn't bad though. He had a 3.05 ERA. He was fine.
We got the Yankee lineup for you, but first, Nestor Cortez.
I want to hear it.
Nestor Cortez takes the mound for the Yanks, and Reed Demters. Dandruff, whatever his last name is, taking the rubber for the Halos.
Detrims.
Detrims?
Yeah, that's the thing. And this is the kid that threw the no-hitter. And that lefty Sandoval, he's been pretty good too, but he's finally hit a bump in the road. Again, this Angels team, the pitching was off to an incredibly hot start. They've cooled off. This is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen with this team.
It's a nosedive.
Yeah.
It's not like progressively, okay, we're slowing down a little bit. It's been... You're jumping off the cliff right now.
And their strategy is always the same. It's always about hitting but no pitching. That's really been the similarity.
Right, and then the bats fall asleep.
Yeah, and look, they remember they signed Anthony Rendon to a big contract. And
terrible.
Terrible. And I actually thought that was going to work out for them. It did not. And they have no pitching. I mean, when you can't pitch, you can't win. I mean, look, I'm mostly an offensive guy, but if you can't pitch, you have no shot. The only guy that's really good on that team is their closer, and that's really it. I mean, Iglesias is good. I actually like him.
Let's hear the Yankee lineup.
The Yankee lineup, it's odd, but it's going to be odd for a little bit because guys are out. All right. Leading off, playing third, it seems like every day now, DJ LeMahieu. The DH, Aaron Judge. Batting third, playing first base, Anthony Rizzo. Gleyber Torres at second, batting cleanup again, but okay. He's been hot. I'll give him credit. I'll give credit where credit is due. In left field, Miguel Andujar. Aaron Hicks in center field, the shortstop Isaiah Kiner-Falefa behind him, catching Kyle Higashioka, and in right field, Joey Gallo. So remember how I just said it's nice not having 2 automatic outs at the end of the lineup? We got it tonight.
Hey, Gallo had a really nice night last night. Really nice
please.
night.
What do you expect me to believe in that? Do you expect me to be on here and saying, I think Gallo could go 2 for 4? You think I can actually believe that?
Anthony, that's what you have to believe because nothing else is going to change as of right now. So you need to believe in that he is going to get it going. And Brian Cashman better hope he gets it going. Because the only winner of that trade is the New York Mets. We got Joely Rodriguez.
I mean, Miguel Castro is pretty nice when he's not all over the place.
We were arguing this on Monday. We were going through me, Josh, and Matt. We were going through Yankee relievers. When do they use Castro? Do they use him in high leverage situations?
They started the year. They used to use him a lot. Now they've kind of stopped because they have so much depth. That's why you can overcome one guy.
Okay, but they use that Italian kid over him in that Rays game.
I mean,
that shows their trust level with him right now, and clearly it's not good. A guy that just came up from AAA.
That Italian kid from Toms River, New Jersey, right?
He was terrible.
He was terrible. So you're telling me Miguel Castro shouldn't be in that game? That shows how the Yankees feel about Miguel Castro.
No, you're right. And look, we saw it with the Mets. He had no command. And that's the thing. He had great stuff, but he had no command. And that's the thing. We've seen so many players come up where it's like you have the stuff, but you don't have the command. That Castro might be one of those guys.
No, he doesn't have that command. And you have a really great pitching coach. And all I ever read was, Matt Blake will figure him out. He'll get, but no, he hasn't figured him out yet. I think he can, but he hasn't figured him out yet. But if you can get that guy going, he reminds me of a young Jerry Familia. He really does.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Mets here really quick. Yeah. But really quickly, you were listening to WHBC Sports Talk on the voice of Nassau Community College 90.3 WHBC. And the Mets just won. And who was in the game to close it out?
Well, it wasn't a save, but yes.
All right, well, then I won't play the music then.
Yeah, I don't think that it should be played if he's not going
into a save situation. Okay.
Or like what he did on Sunday night, where he got the big 3 outs with a runner on second. You could play that if you want to do that too.
Oh yeah, of course, because I have that. Because
I'm saying they play Narco. That's the song with the trumpets. Every time he enters the game. But I only believe they should play it if it's a save situation or it's that situation where he's going in to preserve that lead of a tie game.
Yeah, and honestly, he looked unbelievable in that game against the Phillies. He really did. And honestly, his 2 best games, I would even say as a Met, was against the Phillies this year, which was the no-hitter and that. That's how dominant I thought he looked. He just, to me, outside of maybe 1 game or 2, he's been great. I mean, I don't even blame him against the game against the Cardinals. That was just unlucky. But, he's been great. And I can't argue. As much as I don't trust him at times, he's been great.
All right, so now I'm going to put you on the spot here. How about that bullpen?
Today? Look, it could be good.
How about yesterday?
Scoreless streak, I think 21 innings.
You're up 10-0. Or you should hold that lead. You're 10-0.
Regardless, the bullpen has been doing a lot better lately.
Scoreless streak, not just holding leads.
Okay.
Scoreless.
How did they do against the Phillies when Diaz came in? How did they do?
You can never be happy with the Mets.
Well,
there's always something wrong with the Mets with you. What is this?
They could have a few good games. I'm not saying they're the worst bullpen in Major League Baseball.
They're not. That's the problem,
they're not,
Ross.
But they're not the best either.
Ross, everybody sits here every week and agrees with you. The Mets need help in the bullpen.
Thank you. That's all I wanted to hear.
Ross, we say it every week, and it's May, and now it's June, and maybe in a few weeks a trade will get done. But nobody's making trades yet.
Call the Nationals.
We don't disagree with you. We all agree the Mets need bullpen help. We all agree with you. It's not the greatest bullpen in the world. It's also not the worst. And they're 35-17, and they have an 11-game lead in the division.
Okay, who do you trust against the Dodgers? Who do you trust? What bullpen right now?
I trust Edwin Diaz. I trust Drew Smith. I trust Seth Lugo. I trust Joely Rodriguez against lefties. Come on, Ross. How many people do you trust in the Yankees bullpen right now? The Italian kid, Miguel Castro? Who do you
Clay
trust?
Holmes. I trust Clay Holmes.
Great, Clay Holmes. Who else do you trust? Michael King hasn't been great.
Okay, but at least I know he's been really good in the past and this year.
Oh, okay. Well, K-Rod was really good in the past.
You trust Jolie Rodriguez?
Against lefties? Sure, why not? He's been good against lefties. He's gotten big outs against left-handed pitchers, especially against the Phillies.
He has better numbers against righties this year.
He's gotten Kyle Schwarber out and Bryce Harper exactly when he's needed to.
Do you trust Ottavino? I do not.
I don't trust Ottavino, but again, we're not sitting here at argument. You know who's getting into my trust level? Colin Holderman, the kid they called.
Yeah,
he's been unreal.
He's been great.
Been good. He's starting to get into that a little bit.
The guys that have come out of nowhere have been very good. Nogosek's been great.
Yeah, he's a good long man.
They've been great. The only thing is that I want to see these guys against tough hitters. That against the Dodgers, for example,
we're going to see it. We're going to see it all weekend.
And if their bullpen is very good, I will shut up about the rest of the year.
But I don't think their bullpen's going to be very good. I don't, because I agree with you. They need help in the bullpen. That's their weakness. But it's not a weakness right now that's going to kill them. They're 11 games up in the division.
Look, and honestly, this is what I'll say about the bullpen. If they can throw strikes, I think they're very good. If they cannot throw strikes, there's a serious problem. And that's my concern, is can they throw enough strikes to get people out? Clearly, Ottavino, although he bounced back after a walk, that's going to be a problem, is those walks. You saw against the Phillies, it almost costed them in that game. I'm just saying you need guys consistently, or at least most of the time, to be able to throw strikes consistently, especially with the rotation right now, who doesn't go deep into games. Carrasco only went 5 innings today. So you're going to have to consistently get 12 outs out of the bullpen.
Right, and that cannot happen, especially when you're going to the Dodgers. You're going to need Bassett to go 6 or 7. You're going to need Taijuan Walker to find a way to go 6 or 7. You're 100% right about that.
Yeah, and look, even McGill, as good as he was, and he was great. He wasn't going deep into games. As good as he was.
He wasn't going 5 innings. He was going, around 6, maybe 7.
Yeah.
Which again, you'll take.
It
doesn't happen. Guys don't go 8 innings anymore. They just don't, unless you're Max Scherzer or Jacob deGrom, and even Scherzer wasn't going 8.
So, you bring up the Dodgers right now. I think if there's any hope right here, it's that the Dodgers got swept by the Pirates.
That's unreal to me.
Did they get swept?
That's unreal to me. Yes, they did.
I don't know how that happened.
There's your hope. Ross, now
they didn't get swept yet. They got a game tonight, no? Yeah, they got a game tonight. They lost 2 out of 3, though.
Well, I'm telling you right now,
so bad.
They're getting swept tonight.
Wow, that's your pick?
That's my pick.
Quintana's been good.
I mean...
Ross, can you give me one positive of the Met bullpen, besides Edwin Diaz?
Besides that, Holderman's been really good. He's been unreal.
Lugo has been better.
Do you feel like they're getting better?
They're getting better, yes. I to a couple of maybe 1 or 2 relievers here and there. Outside of 1 or 2 relievers, they've been much better than they have been in the past. The one guy, I could have an opinion, by the way, one guy, I could have my complaint, is Ottavino.
And I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And to me, it's funny because he gave a 2-run homer to Kyle Schwarber. It was like a month ago. And that happens, whatever.
Happens to every Mets pitcher.
Happens to every Mets pitcher pretty much. And when, he was saying well, I'm pretty good at, bouncing back, right? Whatever his term was. I'm like, you better have said that 1,000 times, buddy, because you give up a lot of home runs and a lot of walks. So, unfortunately, Ottavino, if there is, I know you can't trade relievers now, but if you could, I would. But I know you can't. He's on the team.
He's a guy that I'm not bringing in the 7th, 8th inning.
I agree.
He's not. If you need a guy in the 6th, he's your guy. That's how I would use him from now on.
Yeah, he can't. You cannot have him get just 1 out, and that's in a spot where you need an out. That's not where Ottavino should be, in my opinion. He's not worthy of that. I mean, that pitch to Castellanos, he threw, a meatball sub in the middle of the plate.
On the 0-2 count.
It wasn't the worst pitch in the world. It just because it was up and in. It was up and in a little bit. It was up and in the strike zone, but it was in the strike zone. And on 0-2, after you fooled him on that slider,
Yeah, you can't go back with
you
that.
can't go to a fastball. Where a professional hitter can go and crush it. That's what he did.
Yeah.
Why don't we talk about some positive things with this team for crying out loud?
Well, I'm trying to set Ross up to say something positive.
Okay.
They have
Their offense has been good. It's been great. How about that?
Great. Their offense has been great. They have won a ton of games since losing Scherzer. And listen, they're playing weak opponents right now. I get that. They took care of the Phillies, which was great. They take care of business. I mean, dominated. They didn't just beat the Nationals, right?
They dominated them.
Bludgeon.
And that's what winning teams do. They just completely and utterly dominate you. And that's what this team did. And now let's see what happens. I was nervous for this West Coast trip, and now I'm like, you know what? I'm still nervous, just like I would be for any other game, but it's a good test.
They couldn't go into it, the West Coast trip, they couldn't go into it better than this.
Yes.
They absolutely could not have.
Yeah.
Got to keep hitting.
What's a good record for this West Coast trip?
Let me see how many games it is.
If it's a 4-game series against the Dodgers.
I like to split this weekend.
Split the weekend, and then you play the Padres. I mean, if you could win 2 out of 3, possibly, you take it. I mean, if you're going to lose a series here. I mean, let's just call it the way it is at some point.
Right.
If you can, you lose to San Diego or you lose to the Dodgers, but you win 2 out of 3 against the Angels, you sign up for that.
Right. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You're going to go through a little bit of a struggle.
10 games.
Yeah.
Give me 6 and 4.
Okay.
I'll take
Give
5
me
and
6,
5.
and I'll take 5 and 5. Give me 6 and 4, though.
Yeah.
I believe that they could go to San Diego and take 2 out of 3. San Diego's been really good so far this year. Don't get me wrong.
They did not look great against the Pirates, I thought. They looked a little weak.
They're capable of going into San Diego and taking 2 out of 3, and obviously, like we've seen, that the Angels have come down to earth. I expect to go there and take 2 out of 3.
Okay. I mean, I think that's a little... You don't want another game?
Dodgers split. 6 and 4? Come on. Listen, if you know the history of this team...
you want another game, right? You want to go 7-3.
You know the history of this team. Going out west is never a good thing.
I know.
It's and it's really difficult for an East Coast team. You see it. The Yankees go out west, and sometimes they don't have the greatest stretch, depending on how the teams are doing that particular year. You're facing 2 of the better teams in the National League, and then going out west to see a team you rarely see.
And it's all
6 and I would sign on the dotted line for 6 and 4 right now.
I'm gonna just say this. I know that Dodger series is coming up. I said it yesterday. Don't let the Mets with half a rotation take 3 out of 4 against the Dodgers or more. Don't let them do it, because I'm gearing up to be.
You get my hopes up way too much if you do that.
Exactly. Like I would gear up to be completely. That would cause me to be obnoxious. That would cause me to come in here and be just an insane Mets fan, just complete optimist.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we're going to the championship series. All that.
Monday they come in 3 out of 4 or a sweep. Don't come in.
Well, wait, why did you look at me when you said that?
I'm just saying. We'll be.
It's gonna be turned up, man.
Be bad. No, but all seriousness, let's keep our heads on.
I think you're
keep
right.
Keep it level. 35-17, unbelievable start. Let's keep it going. Come on.
I mean, I don't think anybody expected that when Scherzer went down. DeGrom, first of all, hasn't even thrown a pitch yet. I mean, that's pretty insane.
This team keeps surprising me. Keeps surprising all of us. What's today?
They've really had, like, if you think of the Mets for years, they've had so many bad losses over the years. They've really only had like 1 bad loss, if you really, or maybe 2. I mean, the game against the Phillies in Philadelphia was a bad loss.
You can count the losses.
After that,
they're like backbreaking losses on one hand. I'll agree.
Yeah, that's really been it. Was that one game? The Giants game. At least
shouldn't have been in it.
They should never have been in it. That's how I look at it. And also, but other than that, they've won every game they've supposed to.
Well, the game after the 9th inning loss, the 13-12 loss, was worse than the comeback loss. That was worse because all optimism died with that series.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. You also had Tomas Sapocki out there. I mean, that was pathetic.
The problem was, this is how I felt about it, because I didn't watch that 13-12 loss. So when I woke up and watched highlights, I was like, oh my God, that stinks. But I was like, you know what? Win today, and you forget about it, and you take 2 out of 3 from the Giants. And then they lost that game, and then, like you guys just said, it was almost negative. What's going to happen? You have the Phillies coming in. They took care of business, though. Clearly, 6-0 since then.
Very good. And
today's Wednesday, June 1st. I'll never forget where I was on June 1st.
You read the topic sheet
when Tomas Nido went 4 for 4.
Oh.
Yeah, I wasn't going there. He went 4 for 4 in a Major League Baseball game.
Round of applause.
Good job, Tomas.
Everybody sitting on this team. Like, come on now. Like, this is a damn good team. Everybody's contributing.
Now do what you were about to do, because...
So what happened 10 years ago today? You want to know?
He struck him out. It has happened. In their 51st season, Johan Santana has
51.
no-hitter in New York Mets.
Is it the first one, though? Are you going to be that salty fan?
Yeah, that's the first one.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Stop.
That's the first one.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that's the first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I like that attitude.
Are your World Series titles with guys juiced
Okay.
up? All World Series titles? Do we count those or no?
Okay.
See
now.
what you did is strike a nerve.
Those are two different things right now.
Just want to make sure.
Okay. Oh, so you're telling me the Mets weren't juicing?
They didn't win a World Series then. They didn't win a World Series.
It doesn't feel like 10 years.
Just so happens you guys felt you won like 5. Anyway, no, it does not. It really doesn't. I was at the game last night and they honored him. It was really, really cool. So they had Santana's son throw out the first pitch and Josh Tolley's son catch it.
Oh, wow.
And then they took a picture of the whole family together. And then they had the guys from the combined no-hitter come out and take a picture with them. And James
That's
McCann,
awesome.
obviously. It was like 10 minutes, not even, before the game, but they did a great job.
I mean, this is a monumental moment. Because
Oh, yeah.
besides the Padres, this was the team that was pitiful with the no-hitters.
What's funny is, and Gary was talking about it earlier in the game today, this team has always had such fantastic pitching. They've been since they started the franchise in '62. They've had fantastic pitching.
So, and the point, how does Tom Seaver now have a no-hitter with the Mets?
Yeah.
Jerry Kuzman.
Doc Gooden,
Right.
Matt Harvey, Jacob deGrom, it's all these guys, and we're forgetting a ton of them. But they've had so much great pitching, haven't had a no-hitter. Johan, the first guy.
Who's pitching the perfect game for the Mets?
Oh, come on, it'll be Jake.
But are you sure he's going to be back?
Actually, you know what? You're right. I don't know. I think...
Are you still... Okay.
No, I'm not.
Another... Really quick. Are you still maintaining you're okay with him not being on this team next year?
I can't imagine the Mets. I mean, without DeGrom for a full year. I mean, I can imagine it now and they're fine, but
You got to take into account too the money they're gonna have to back up the Brinks truck for him too to get him here. Like the amount because he's gonna opt out, and then he one thing about Jacob deGrom, what he's talked about the last couple of years, he's gonna get his money one way or another.
He's got to come back this year, and like they got to go on a deep run, and he's got to stay healthy and be Jacob deGrom. And then I'll say, all right, give him whatever he wants.
I just as great as a pitcher as he may be, I don't understand his mindset. I really don't. Like, why even think about your contract before you even throwing a pitch? I mean, I just don't.
it is. It's a little ridiculous, but
makes no sense.
when you're the best player in baseball, how do you not?
No, I know, but
think about
you're
that?
a pitcher though.
He's underpaid to what he's underpaid. That's it. He's the best pitcher in baseball, and he's not even he's not the highest paid pitcher in baseball.
And that is his own doing though, because right after he signed his last contract, he fired his agent almost immediately.
Right.
So he knew what he did. So he's trying to make up for lost time and lost money here.
Why would he say, "Oh, I haven't thought about it"? When even if he didn't pitch a game this season, he believes, his agent believes, and rival executives believe, doesn't matter. He's still going to get paid whatever he wants.
No, look,
It doesn't matter. He's going to opt out. And that was the thought process. If there was a chance that if he didn't pitch this season, maybe he wouldn't get the contract he wanted, then he wouldn't have said it. But he knew, and everybody knows, that he'll get whatever he wants, even if he doesn't pitch this season. No. And by the way, I do believe he's going to come back.
Okay.
Soon.
I just don't.
Early July.
I guess I'm looking at more from the side of you're a player, you haven't thrown a pitch, you've had a history of getting hurt. I mean, let's call it the way it is. And on top of it, pitchers break down. That's just part of it. So you gotta be careful if and I also just look at it from this is not the Mets' fault, that they gave you your money. They gave you and you signed it. So you can't play in the Mets, and you can't, DeGrom signed it.
You did the one thing you could do, fire your agent.
Yeah,
that's the one. But
one thing in your power to do. I'm not blaming the Mets for the contract.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't have listened to your agent. You should have.
Yeah, that's
demanded more. That's not. Don't be angry at the Mets or Met fans. Not that he is.
Yeah, that's on you. That's on the Mets.
Random thought. Isn't it crazy the Mets have not played the Marlins yet? Like, they still have 19 games against
the
that
New York
team.
teams play the Florida teams really late in the season.
Yeah, we talked about it. It's crazy. And I saw before...
That park is so ugly, though.
Yeah, I know.
It
We
is
gotta go
disgusting.
there so many more times. I saw something. The Mets have like the fourth easiest schedule remaining, even with this month they have. But that's because the Marlins' record right now is the way it is. They're 8 games under 500, and 19 of those games of the 111 are against them. And I don't think their record's going to stay that way. I have their over.
So do I.
So, yeah.
How do you feel about that? Confident still?
Yeah. I think they'll hit that. They beat up on the Mets. They beat the Mets.
Okay.
They will at least split against the Mets.
The Marlins, just their problem is their offense was very good earlier in the season. It's come down to earth significantly as of late. But they could pitch. That's the one thing.
You want to talk about bullpen, Ross? Go watch their games.
Why they're both? I mean,
my friend's a Marlins fan, and he's
How does that? Is he from down there?
No, he's just a pain in the ass. He's like, the bullpen's terrible. It's like they have leads, the starters are great, and they blow it.
Yeah, that's what I know about the Marlins for years. That their bullpen's been pretty bad.
516-572-7440. All right, some quick MLB news. Let's start off with the stupid news first. The Tommy Pham, Jock Peterson feud. Dumbest thing ever. I don't know if people have saw the GIF.
I've tried to read everything on this. I've read all the articles. I've gone through all the tweets. Can somebody just please explain to me what the hell happened here?
It's over a fantasy football league. So in February, when the league ended, you've been holding on to this grudge for a couple months now. And what really made Tommy Pham slap Jock Peterson was a GIF of the Padres getting crushed. It was like 3 people throwing, what do they call it, the weighted balls up, right?
Yeah.
It was the Dodgers, the Giants. They didn't get hit by the balls. Here we go. We're going to mark down every timestamp right now.
Yeah, because you just keep saying balls.
It's a sports show. Come on.
Okay. And then the San Diego Padres superimposed person, the ball crushes them, right? And that upset Tommy Pham somehow. And so your resolution to it is smacking Jock Peterson and complaining about the league. And you know who the league manager is? Mike Trout.
That's what I read today. Like, why are you outing Mike Trout?
Well, first of all, Tommy Pham, how are you in a league with Mike Trout? How are you on that level? Same thing. I mean, Jock Peterson to a lesser degree.
He's had success in the league, though, Jock.
Right. I mean, good for Tommy Pham. I mean, he got his name back in the media. Good for him.
This is
It's so stupid.
I know we're halfway through the year now. This has to be top 2, top 3 weirdest sports stories I've heard this year. Like, it came out of nowhere. The slap happens, and everyone's like, why did he just slap Jock Peterson? And I've been trying. I know the fantasy football thing was like a thing. It was a big, reason for it, but it's nothing about this story seems real to me.
No, there's deep below. I mean, there was money involved. I believe there was something suspicious about the way the league was being run. Whatever. You're getting paid millions of dollars. What do you put? A couple grand on it? Please grow up.
And by the way, Mike Trout has to speak to the media in New York City, and all the questions are going to come in about this fantasy football thing. Really.
That's what we're talking about.
He did already, and he shot it down. So he had basically said, it was interesting, blah, blah, blah. And then they said it. He said, like, all commissioners get booed. Like, nobody really likes any commissioner. And then he was like, I'm not taking any more questions on it. So, he's...
That's what he should do, though. It's ridiculous.
He's a professional. He's not going to, give us a fun answer. He's boring. But he's great.
Remember when they tried to do that thing where he's the weather-man for the All-Star game? Remember that a couple years ago?
They really tried to make that.
They tried so hard, and he's just... There's nothing there.
No, that's his thing, though. That's his quirky thing. Besides for being great at baseball, like that's the thing he likes.
I know, but he's up there. Like, this is the weather. Like, just
he's a boring guy. Yeah. He's, we always talk about, they don't market him well. That if he walked into, a convenience store and you were there, nobody would know who he is. A casual fan wouldn't know who he was, and just not that guy. Tatis. Oh, my God. Acuna, Soto, those guys, they're marketable. Judge, marketable. Lindor, Alonso, marketable.
Speaking of Juan Soto, did you hear about this? Oh, we got a phone call first.
I do want to talk about Soto before we talk about the Rangers.
Caller, what's going on?
What's up? JM, Mer, how you doing?
What's up, JM? How we doing?
I'm good. I'm glad you guys are talking about this because I feel like this situation that you're talking about with Tommy Pham, it's like a trifecta of like the worst people in baseball because you got Tommy Pham came to the Reds and straight off the bat in spring training he said he's only there because he wants to pad his stats. So that's a good way to start off with your teammates. Then Jock Peterson, who I didn't really have a problem with, but now I don't know if you guys saw the video of him like explaining everything that happened. It was painful to watch. It took about 2 minutes for him to get through the entire story. And Mike Trout, Merlo, you were just saying, and one of you guys brought up the whole weatherman thing.
Yeah.
He really is like Mike Trout's obviously a great guy, like a Derek Jeter-esque guy, right? He doesn't really get himself in trouble or anything like that, but my God, that guy is just so boring, and he's a weatherman. It's literally that's what he likes. He's not a fun person ever.
Don't talk bad about weathermen. You know I love my weathermen.
Yeah, I do know
I'm
that.
a big meteorology guy.
Yeah?
If I wasn't terrible at science, that's what I'd be doing.
Oh, wow.
The minute a snowflake comes on the floor, Merlo like goes outside with his iPhone.
Really?
You should see my camera.
He's witnessing.
Yeah.
Does he know about Thursday mornings?
He's not up to listen to Thursday mornings. He should listen to Thursday mornings.
The last thing I wanted to say was, I think it's hilarious. I'm the commissioner. Merlo can tell you, I'm the commissioner of our football league, former commissioner, because I was under a lot of heat.
Yeah.
And I never witnessed. I witnessed some conflict sometimes that would get down to guys arguing with each other, but never would I think it would come down to a grown man slapping another man in the face. Nevertheless, a professional athlete doing it to another professional athlete. And on top of that, with cameras all over the place and thousands of people, well, not thousands, it was the Reds game at Great America's Ballpark, hundreds of people sitting in the stands.
Yeah. And by the way, we had a lot of issues with you as commissioner, but not as many as we do with our current commissioner, who I will not name drop because he's not
you
very
got the
good at
platform.
it.
You want to?
He's not very good at it.
Okay.
And I'm a commissioner of another league, and
you're not very good at it.
No, I consider myself more of a dictator than anything else.
He's not very good at many things.
Oh.
Okay.
There we go.
All right.
Thank you, JM.
Thank you, JM.
Yeah. No, I'm a great commissioner in the other league, though. Like, really good. Although I had a real big issue with somebody.
There are a lot of...
I handled it.
All right. Really quickly,
I'm a handler.
This Juan Soto thing, right?
I think we should talk about the Rangers.
Okay.
I think
we'll save this for another time.
Save Soto for another day.
So, the one basketball thing, like really, really quickly. ESPN Power Index gives the Warriors only a 14% chance to win.
Yeah, that's...
I got nothing on that.
That's troubling.
No. Okay. Really.
Yeah.
14%.
Yeah, that doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll just leave it there.
Fix your numbers.
Yeah.
All right.
Leave it there.
I don't know who is like, yeah, that sounds right. Even though the Warriors are the betting favorites, but it's okay.
Imagine if Vegas gave the Warriors this small a chance. I would slam those odds like live on air, like right now. If they give the Warriors like plus odds like that, 14%.
Hey, listen. If
well, by the way, do you have a pick for us? By the way,
no, actually, yes.
I'm not going to. I don't know what it is.
No, I don't have a pick. I'm not going to be unprepared. I don't have a pick tonight. I'm sorry. I don't.
Next week, you got to have your game.
I'll pick. Listen, I had 3 great picks yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, over Yankees, over Cubs, over Braves.
Wow.
Yeah.
All hit?
All hit. Easy money.
A Merlo sweep.
Yeah, it was good.
All right.
Rangers.
Rangers.
I was going to say the Rangers, but you know what? I don't know enough. I can't just say the Rangers are going to win tonight. I know Vasilevsky's possibly the greatest goalie in postseason history. I know that. I'm not going to say the Rangers are going to win.
I'm going to say they're going to win. Wow. I'm going to say they're going to win tonight.
Confidence.
Because it's the Garden. But they'll lose game 2.
Yeah.
They'll win a game on the road, and then they'll drop the rest.
Yeah.
So they'll win 2 games, which is fine. And I know I've said this before about they're going to get smoked in the second round. I did think they were going to win the first round. Although as the the first few games happened. You didn't think they were going to come back from that, but they did. Even in the second round, you didn't think with the way the Hurricanes, or rather the Rangers, could not put the puck in the net, that the Rangers were going to lose that series. But they won. And this team always has this comeback mantra. As Chris Kreider called them, they're roaches. They never go away, which is you really have to do that?
It's cold in here.
I'm going to throw that remote against the wall.
It's the air is blowing on me.
Oh, well, that's my problem. So you got to fiddle with the remote.
I'm not bothering you. You continue to talk.
All right. Braden Point will be back in the series at some point. And
He's not starting?
Braden Point is injured. Ooh. But he's on his way. He's making his way back.
He'll be back for like game 2 or game
Which
4.
I don't like that. So
Yeah.
if the Rangers, you have to win tonight, and I know we said that, you have to win game 1. But you really, I mean, this is the most important one you've played yet. Obviously.
How excited are you?
Can I tell you something?
Come on, this is house money. This
You
is
want to hear something? You want to hear something funny? I might go see a movie instead of seeing the game tonight.
Wow.
I'm pulling a
Are you
Justin
kidding?
Greenberg.
No, but all seriousness, like, you went to the casino with some money, you won some money, and you won even more money, and now you have their money, and you're still there for another couple days. You're not
You have to make a betting
I'm just
comparison
saying that's the best comparison I can make.
You weren't expected to go this far, and,
Yes.
it is very funny that you did what the Islanders did when, even though you were dead in the water last year, and the Islanders are pitiful, but it's funny.
Always a shot at the Islanders.
There has to be. I mean, that's upsetting. You know, we did it. We did it in the year when we didn't even make the playoffs, and then the next year we made the playoffs, and we're playing the same team that beat you twice. We can win. The series is winnable to a certain extent. I don't think they're going to win it though.
Yeah, I think we're gonna maybe lose in 6, and honestly, I'm okay with
That's
that.
fine. The season has been a success.
It's been more than a success.
And I let go of that. I know I always bring this up, but Michael said when talking about the Super Bowl, the Bengals better get it done this year. When the Rangers were playing Carolina, I said they better get it done this year. But I don't know, the way that they were resilient in the Carolina series, even in the Pittsburgh series, they'll be back at some point.
Yeah,
You hope so.
They will
I
be
hope
back.
so. I think they can be. They got money to spend.
Here's what I'll say: in the past, when they made the playoffs and they were knocked down in the second round, I thought it was over. I thought they were going to rebuild, which they kind of did anyway. I don't feel that way this time. If they lost this time, I'm not going to feel like we're never going to make it back. We will make it back at some point. It's not doom and gloom. We're going to blow it up and start over. No, we are going to be back. The Lightning, that's a ridiculous team. That team is insane. They've won 2 cups in a row.
That even lost pieces, and they're still that good.
3-0 against them this year, though.
Yeah, but postseason.
Shesterkin's been unbelievable. I know it's completely different. Shesterkin was great against them in the regular season. Only 1.3 goals per game.
Look, they matched up well with Tampa in the regular season. I know Tampa's got the experience to win the cups, but at the same time, we do have Goudreau, and he knows the Lightning. So we'll see.
If that goalie, if Shesterkin plays the way he played against Carolina, especially last few games,
yeah, we have a shot.
You have a chance, 100%.
Yeah, we have a chance. There's not gonna be a lot of goals, I don't think, in either side.
Unlike
yesterday.
I can't believe that. Listen, obviously I'm not a huge hockey fan, but the postseason's not supposed to be like that, where you score a ton of goals.
There's no defense on either team. Bad goaltending, bad defense on either team. It was literally like an all-star game.
It's not fun to watch, right? Is it fun to watch, or if you're a purist, it's not?
If you're like a casual fan, it's fun.
Well, they had Gretzky even saying, you got to play defense.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was.
If you're a coach, you hate it.
You guys didn't like it.
I didn't mind it.
I didn't like it because if the Avs can do that to Mike Smith, they could also possibly do it to Shesterkin if they go there.
Shesterkin's way better than Mike
I know,
Smith.
but I got this. I mean, the Avs killed the Rangers in their 2 meetings.
No, I know, but that was all. You got to remember, too, that game when we got blown out at the Garden, that was when we had like that hunk of guy starting for us. He was from the minors. Like, he didn't.
I was at that game.
He was terrible. Like, I mean, but he didn't have a chance either. Like, but
the defense was also Swiss cheese to an extent.
It was bad. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying. Look, I don't think we would beat Colorado if we even got there. But you never know.
I'm like, I don't want to get there because I don't want to see them lose. I saw them lose
to the Kings, and that was rough.
That was rough because the Kings don't have fans. They lost to the Blackhawks. That'd be cool. You got fans. It's respectable.
Yeah, the Kings. I'm telling you, losing to the Kings and losing Game 7 at the Garden to the Lightning. That was the worst I felt as a hockey fan. Those two times, and I remember Game 7. That's the thing. It was 0-0 going to the third period, and we were terrible in the third. I remember that day. I remember it, and it was horrible.
I remember just falling on the floor when Alec Martinez scored that goal in double overtime. I should be positive, though. I should be. I should be.
Who cares?
I care. We can go on.
You know,
we can. I mean, there's a chance. There's always a chance with this team.
It's hockey. You never know.
It's hockey. I like that.
That's how I say. That's what I say. Hockey. You never know. It's like the NFL. A bounce goes your way. Who knows? I'm just saying. Realistically, I don't think they could beat them, but you never know. It's possible.
Didn't think you'd beat Carolina.
I never thought they'd beat Carolina. They did.
I think I'm not going to go to the movie tonight.
You should watch the game because your favorite team is playing a playoff game. You should probably watch that
I should probably watch that.
As much as I want to go see Top Gun.
Oh, someone's into movies now. Wow.
I do want to go see Top Gun. Yes, I do. I also haven't been to the movie in a while. I want some popcorn, nice butter.
Well, this is the last day it's going to be in theaters. I can rent it.
And also,
not Top Gun.
Oh, and by the way, one last thing. I usually have luck. They always win when I listen to radio. So I am going to maybe do that.
So you're going to listen to
Kenny.
Okay.
Until it fails.
It's Sam, actually.
Oh, it's Sam? Oh, then we might lose. I don't
know.
I'm kidding.
And Josh went up here and said, "Oh, ye of little faith." You don't trust the voice of the Rangers?
No, I never listened to Sam much on radio, so I have no idea how it's going to go.
It's not bad. It's pretty good.
Oh, that's so super.
Mike, really quickly, score prediction.
3-2 Rangers.
3-2 Rangers. You going to book it?
Book it.
Book it. All right. That's going to do it for us. From Michael Merlo, Josh Umahi, Ross Levine, I'm Anthony Deus saying good night, New York, wherever you are.